Bases dropped on Resolution Tuesday, for lack of a better word. John, hear you there. And it's the last day of the calendar year here in 2024. So, reason I'm late, I'm horribly late. Morning, Alex. Is, of course, it wouldn't be the end of a calendar year before the car had to have some work done. So I was, full disclosure, waiting for a phone call from the mechanic to find out what specifically needed to be done and how much it was going to cost. So I guess technically this is opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. That's your QR code. For those of you hanging out with us this morning and you use that QR code to start your day, you kick off your day with our friends from Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. When you're going through their website, you buy the store out, use the code Soccer Down Here 15 when you're done, because then when you bought the store out, then you can get it at 15% off. So you buy the store out at a discount. Then you can use all of the stuff at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. They in turn take 10%, reinvest it, youth games, youth initiative, stuff that they have earmarked as cool. As our friend Carlito always says, that's our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. So, so this morning, opening kickoff really has to do with the expenses that are always there. And when it comes to my automobile, I'm really hypersensitive because when I got the Subaru a couple of years ago, it was one of those situations where, I'd had the Beast forever, and the Beast was what, 23, like 22 years old. And I'd had it forever. And so you're getting a newer car, a larger car to balance out the sedan that the boss has that you need for various and sundry things. So when it comes to regular maintenance, I'm a real stickler. When it comes to thinking something's wrong, I'm really hypersensitive about it. And so earlier this week, morning, Bam, happy 2025. And hopefully your party went well, and I'm glad that you're home safely. So with all of the rain that happened this weekend, I put the car in reverse and was going out of the driveway and felt some resistance in the brake pads in the rear, not the front, because the front had already been replaced. So, like when you push the brake pad and you kind of feel resistance from the car, and the car kind of sits there and you hear the pad grinding a little bit. That's what it was with me. And so I'm hearing the pad grind and I'm hearing a little bit of a resistance, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take it to my local brake guy down the street, Tires and Brakes. They're a chain, and they're down the street. Literally, they're like a half mile from the house. So take the car down there, check the car in last night, got the phone call back from the mechanic this morning, and he's like, well, it's not your brakes, it's something else. It's your front struts, because the car is older than 50,000 miles. And this is having to do with stuff that we haven't faced, because I got the car used at like 35,000 miles. So this is that north of 50,000 mile stuff that you're traditionally keeping an eye on, and then that it's going to happen sooner or later. I'm getting a lot of that happening sooner rather than later stuff, considering that we picked up the car at 35,000 miles. So he's like, no, not your brakes. Your brakes are fine, but because your car is north of 50,000 miles, your front struts are a problem. And so he was walking me through cost and labor and things like that. And so that was the main reason that we were at 9:30, is that I was waiting for that phone call, and got the phone call and found out how much it's going to cost. Slightly discounted, but still, decent chunk of change. So that's the definite way to end the year, is to just go ahead and hand over the credit card and go, bang, thanks. So there you go. So front struts are not inexpensive for a double negative. So that's happening to the car, and so all I have to do is just walk half a mile and pick the car up at some point later on today. And so there you go. That's the way to end the year. Congratulations to me. And I'm hoping that you do not have to go through the same thing when it comes to cars and car repair, that something's just north of 50,000 miles and you're starting to get repairs. And oh, by the way, and oh, by the way, and oh, by the way. And if you're going to keep the car for a while, then I would recommend doing this. And oh, by the way, oh, by the way, oh, by the way. So that's where we are. We're in the oh, by the way stage, north of 50,000 miles with the Subaru. So the Subaru better be good for a good couple of years or more. That's Opening Kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. That's your QR code. For those of you who are hanging out with us this morning, large device or small, however you are doing so, hit that QR code and kick off your day with our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Then what you can do is use the code SoccerDownHere15 after you've bought out the entire store. So you buy out the entire store, then you get it at a 15% discount. The folks at Kickoff Coffee, in turn, take 10% reinvested into youth games, youth initiatives. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Now, for the other marketing things, you see marketings and promos, right? You see, I finally got it. I got my delivery from our friends at Grady Baby and Grady Baby Co. There's your Grady Baby logo at a 90-degree angle. So that's our friends at Grady Baby. And by the way, right there, SDH Network on the other sleeve. Soccer is just better in Atlanta, right here. So I have the red. The boss has the black. You can get it in T-shirt form or in sweatshirt form. And what you can do is if you pick this up through our friends at Grady Baby and Grady Baby Co., you can help out middle school soccer programs attached to the Atlanta public school system with a portion of the proceeds heading in that direction. So this is a collab that we have with our friends at Grady Baby and Grady Baby Co. is that you can help out middle school soccer programs, continue to grow the game when it comes to 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. See, for me, 8th grade when I was in school, that was high school. But middle school programs, middle school soccer programs, Atlanta Public Schools, Grady Baby and Grady Baby Co. You can pick it up. Soccer is just better in Atlanta in the red and the black. And you can pick it up here and you can wear it. Once again, the Grady Baby logo is on one side and the SDH logo is on the other. See, Grady Baby right here, SDH right here. And that is part of one of our collaborations this year to help out Atlanta Public Schools and middle school soccer and continue to grow the game here locally in 2025. But also what you can do is you can go to our friends at Olive & York. And I got my shipment in yesterday. I didn't personalize. Because I have a tendency when I personalize a jersey is I do something really weird and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It does to me. And then you sit there and go, why'd you put that on the back? But you can go to our friends at Olive & York and you can pick up our first ever SDH jersey. Thanks to our friends at Kaiser Permanente, Scott Flood and the Flood Project for making sure that happened. And that proceeds from that are earmarking our Soccer for Good programs that we are earmarking in 2025. So you can do Grady Baby and help out middle school soccer in the Atlanta Public School System. You can pick up the first ever SDH jersey, and you can pick that up, and you can help out for the Soccer for Good programs that we've earmarked in 2025. You can get that from our friends at Olive & York. And so you can just have an entire wardrobe of SDH-ness. You can just have that entire wardrobe attached to you. And you can sit there and represent everything SDH and be a part of all of the causes for our Soccer for Good. And you can go to Grady Baby Co. Olive & York, and you can get the Kaiser Permanente first ever SDH Network jersey to help out for Soccer for Good in 2025. And also our friends from the Marshall Islands. By the way, Matt Webb, I think, is going to be with us at 10 o'clock on Friday morning. Friday's going to be a bit of a free-for-all. No show tomorrow because it's New Year's, and we got college football to watch. But anyway, no show tomorrow. Thursday is normal, 9:05. Nino and Nico are going to be joining us in hour number 2. And it's going to be normal in hour number 1, getting you on the other side at the beginning of 2025. Friday's going to be normal, but Friday, in the sense of guest, is going to be just a bit of a free-for-all. Whoever shows up, shows up. It's like our last... because it's a Friday and it's in a weird spot, traditionally what you'd like to do at the end of a year is have the end of a year be a Friday, and then, everything's happening and everything purges, and then Monday everything's off and running new. So instead of it being on a Friday and having the Julian calendar be convenient. No show tomorrow on a Wednesday. And so then we pick up 2025 Thursday and Friday. But Friday, since it's like the first Friday of 2025 and kind of a defining point of an end of a week, whoever wants to show up can show up. And I've literally emailed everybody and I've told them, hey, bring friends. Looks like, though, our friends from the Marshall Islands, Matt Webb, the communications director, or hopefully maybe we can be joined by Lloyd Hours as well, the technical director, and they're going to join us at 10 o'clock. And so we're going to catch up with their project and find out about what's going on. The New Jersey is out. The New Jersey is out, not the New Jersey. Not that they are now, annexing New Jersey or anything like that. So the folks in Trenton and Governor Phil Murphy might have issues, but the New Jersey is out. This is the old one, the first one that they came up with. Very, very cool from our friends at Player Layer. And we still have scarves, by the way. If you want one of the scarves, we still have the fan scarves available for purchase. And you go through their website, the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation store, and I mail it to you. I don't have the jerseys or anything else, but I've got the fan scarves because Maddie is a part of an international marketing campaign, and she did that when she was an intern for us. And then you see what she has done with us ever since. So, how many interns can sit there and say they were part of an international marketing program? One. That's Maddie. So you can get the scarf from us. They have a new jersey out, and it is their no home jersey in 2020 for 2030. But it is out late 2024, and it's being shipped. And I think Abby got hers. So the new Marshall Islands jerseys are out. You can go to the Marshall Islands store, get them, and then you can rep the Marshall Islands. We'll do so if the Marshall Islands jersey, the new one, shows up by Friday. I will wear it on the air when Matt shows up at 10 o'clock. If not, then I'll have the first one and I'll wear it. But, our friends from the Marshall Islands continue to grow. We'll find out what 2024 was like for them with getting Katie Smith to be the women's national team head coach and, doubling her time at Pittsburgh State and all points in between. So find out about the women's team. Find out about all of the stuff that they've been able to do, the futsal, the growth of the campaign, and where things stand. So we'll catch up with Matt Webb at the least at 10 o'clock on Friday morning to catch up and find out about things in the Marshall Islands. And so we'll find out what's going on there. As well. But Friday's going to be kind of a free-for-all. Whoever drops in, we'll say hi, get New Year's resolutions, all those kinds of things. And then we can continue to move forward. So hang on just a second. Not completely over the cold, but so there you go. That is, let's see, promo Marshall Islands. Oh, no, I know what I got a promo. Before the 13th, by the way. If you have not voted, please vote. Vote. Vote early, vote often, find a bot, get that created. Because we are in the Sports Podcast Awards for 2024. Voting goes through the 13th. And it goes through January 13. I don't know what the fan vote versus judge vote percentages are. I knew what they were for the Football Content Awards when we were going up against BBC Sky, Golasso, ITV, all those folks. But that was 50-50. 50-50 fan vote, 50-50 judges vote. I don't know what the Sports Podcast Awards breakdown is. But if you have not voted, vote. Sports Podcast Awards, go to sportspodcastgroup.com. In the sports category, we are in the Best Sports Talk podcast. Up against Bill Roden on Sports, the Bros Pod, some guy named Scott Van Pelt and Stanford Steve, the SV Pods at ESPN, and New Heights. I don't know if you've heard about that one. One of the hosts is dating a singer. But we're up against them. And I don't know what the percentages are when it comes to judges vote versus fan vote. But vote. Sportspodcastgroup.com, right there in the sports category, in the Best Sports Talk podcast. We're up against New Heights, the Bros Pod, SV Pod, and 7 others to try to come up with the best sports talk podcast for this year's Sports Podcast Awards. Very humbling, very crazy year. The fact that we were nominated in the FCAs in the first place and going up against all of those heavyweights that we were. Then getting nominated, and this was, like I said, this was a complete and total shock that we were nominated for the SPAs and are now up against all of those other folks in the sports talk category. So vote early, vote often. So it was really cool to have Jason on yesterday afternoon when we did the SDH PM, the SDH lunchtime, and got to talk about where things have gone and what we're doing in 2025 and hoping to expand and continue to grow and do other things as well. So you've been warned, people. As we head toward year 7, season 8 at the end of January. Very, very cool. Very, very humbling in a bunch of different ways. But once again, vote early, vote often. Sports podcast group. Go to the sports category, best sports talk, and vote for SDH. So there you go. Now, I apologize for the hair. This is helmet hair and trying to talk to folks. So there you go. So so vote and help out and do soccer for good. Basically, there you go. Let's see who's in this morning. Morning, Alex. Morning, OG. Morning, Bam. And I mean it. Morning, Bam. Bam, good morning from 2025. Just getting home from a party 15 minutes ago. Morning, Pars. Let's see. So Bam is 16 hours ahead. 9 to 1, 8, 24. Yeah, 16 hours ahead. So, so Bam is 16 hours ahead and says that 2025 smells of illegal fireworks. And Bam had been up since 4 on New Year's Eve or New Year's Eve day. Finished 2024 with doing one thing for yourself. Morning, Harry. Morning, OG. So what I am asking and requesting of all of you, I want to know what your New Year's resolutions are for yourselves, and I want to know what your soccer New Year's resolutions are. And it can be for a team that you follow, or it can be a joke resolution. But if you do a joke resolution for a team that you don't like, give me a serious one for a team that you don't like too. So that's the rundown of if we're going to do resolutions. Morning, Jordan. So if we're going to do resolutions, I need your personal resolution, I need your soccer resolution, and then I need your soccer resolution for your enemy. Because we talked about Christmas wishes and caviar dreams for your enemies. I need to know your New Year's resolution for your enemy. And if you're going to do a joke one, do a serious one. So what you would anticipate from a resolution from your mortal enemy as well. So that's what we're hunting for here. Kaylor Hodges is going to join us at 10:30, and he's going to break down basically what I have assigned Kaylor is this. I said, okay, Kaylor, here's the deal. I need for you to be ready for resolutions for teams in USL Championship. There have been some moves, and believe it or not, Portland Hearts of Pine in League One, they've gotten some folks in USL that we know from USL Championship. So Portland Hearts of Pine ain't messing around. And so we'll catch up with Kaylor coming up in about 45 minutes, and we will find out what he is thinking about everything that is going on in USL Championship, USL League One, and we'll get resolutions across the board. So that's Kaylor coming up in about 40 minutes. But once again, if you're going to do resolutions, I need your personal resolution, I need your soccer resolution, and then I need a resolution for your mortal enemy. And if you're going to do that, I need a serious one to go with a joke one. So that way I need you to look out for those that are coming up against you. And in addition to the joke that you would have them fall down on their face in whatever manner you would wish, I need a serious one for your mortal enemy as well when it comes to soccer. So that's your assignment this morning here as we are rolling through the day. I need to determine where my email is and figure out where's my media assets here. So it's been a while since I've done this and been able to do it. So Here we go. We talked about it over the last couple days and late last week. It is now officially official, involving Messi and friends. Messi and friends today announced the signing of Fafa Pico for 2025. Do not anticipate a whole lot of free agent signings down in Fort Lauderdale to go longer than a year of bringing in folks from MLS. If you bring in more Gulfstream Galacticos and DPs, those would be the ones that I would see for multi-year. But Fafa Pico in-house for the 2025 season. And here's how it was phrased by Messi and friends. Club option for 26, nicknamed the Gazelle. And they have that in italics, by the way. 8 years of MLS experience, 57 and 30, as well as notable international contributions with Les Grenadiers, the Haitian national team, including performances in Gold Cup. President of Football Operations, Rolson Leahy, had 2 sentences. Fafa Pico had 3 sentences. 10 plus 8 last year with Vancouver, helping the team secure the Can Champ and an MLS Cup playoffs bid. Where is Vanni Sartini, by the way? Prior to joining Vancouver, the Gazelle, in italics, played for the Union, FCD, Houston Dynamo, and Nashville. Most notably, Pico scored 9 goals for Nashville in 23, played a pivotal role in their Leagues Cup campaign with goals in the semifinals and the final. Demonstrated consistent scoring ability, achieving double-digit goals in MLS play with Houston, 11 goals in 21, Philadelphia, 10 goals in 18. Returns to South Florida, where he spent his formative years between ages 9 and 16, making a homecoming with a Floridian team for the 3rd time in his career. Began his professional journey in the NASL at the Tampa Bay Rowdies in 2012. Had a standout season with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in 2014, leading them with 12 goals. Semicolon. The memorable season unfolded at the historic Lockhart Stadium, located where Chase Stadium now stands, period. End of paragraph. Pico's club career also includes stints abroad, Czech First Division side Sparta Prague in 2015, FC St. Pauli in Germany's Bundesliga B from 15 to 17, 14 caps with the Haitian national team, appearing in the 23 CONCACAF Gold Cup, Nations League, FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Prior to committing to Haiti, he also represented the U.S. men's national team in 16 and 18 before making his one-time switch. Transaction, boldface. Inter Miami CF signs Fafa Pico through a contract through 25 with a club option for 26, and then they have the version in Spanish. So Fafa Pico, officially official. He is now a part of Messi and friends for 2025 and maybe 2026. San Diego has announced that they have a friendly September 16th at Snapdragon against Xolos. First ever San Diego and Xolos match presented by Modelo. Tuesday, September 16th, 7 o'clock at Snapdragon. And that goes with their ticket request. Hey, you want to dive in, go get it. Like I said, we mentioned yesterday also that Pablo Cisniega is a part of activity in San Diego. They had Duran Ferry rejoining Nordstrand on loan for the 25 till June of 25, so at least through the first half of the 25 season. So that means that the 4 keepers is now 3. So that is how things are. A lot of folks were worried about the log jam in between the sticks for San Diego. So Ferry loaned out, Cisniega now in. So you now have Cisniega and CJ Dos Santos, I would think, is your 1 and your 2, or at least fighting for the 1 and the 2. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Scanning. Not any other announcements from this morning, but there was some other news. According to Tom Bogert, and I'm guessing we probably just, and I cut the music, and we probably need to just go ahead and bring it back. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it back. Okay. According to Tom Bogert, who's been very, very busy this morning, Seattle reaches an agreement to acquire Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas in a blockbuster trade, according to sources. And this is as of 3 minutes ago. Dallas is going to receive $2 million in Garber bucks, an international roster spot in Leo Chu. Ferreira and Seattle agreed to a new contract pending approval and paperwork. So, an agreement on a blockbuster deal to bring in Jesus Ferreira. Deal contingent upon Ferreira agreeing to a new long-term deal. Sources say the agreement has been reached, though still pending final approval and paperwork. $2 million in GAM. 2025 international roster spot in Leo Chu in exchange for Ferreira. Dallas could receive further performance-based add-ons. The Sounder at Heart initially reported negotiations or advanced between the clubs for Ferreira back on December 10. We'll catch up with our buddy Nico Moreno tomorrow to ask about this. Nico will be in the 10:30 half hour after our buddy Nino Torres on Thursday. So talks have been ongoing since before finally reaching a breakthrough this week. Ferreira, who just turned 24, spent his entire career with Dallas, product of the club's academy, becoming the first homegrown player in MLS to sign a DP contract extension. 53 and 34 in 163 appearances, 5 and 6 in an injury-riddled 2024 season, limited to just over 1,300 minutes. 2 years removed from a career best of 18 and 6 in 2022. 15 goals and 23 caps for the M&T, part of the country squad for the 2022 World Cup. So Seattle adds the in-prime, according to Bogert, in-prime MLS proven forward to be a part of their core moving forward. So there you go. Jesus Ferreira from Dallas to Seattle. That's another one of the big moves from this morning. Ilie said his goodbye at LAFC. Said his goodbyes over his Instagram account. Wish he had, this is quoting Ilie from his Instagram. I wish I had the opportunity to say goodbye in person. It's the only way I have been left to express how grateful I am for the last 3 unforgettable seasons we have shared. I've enjoyed every moment here. Even during the challenging times, your affection, support, and high expectations have helped me continue to grow both as a player and as a person. So Ilie out the door in LA, and it looks like connecting some dots, perhaps, or at least letting the dots maybe connect themselves. Ilie might be heading to Austin, so we'll keep an eye out on that. So Ilie out the door in LA, will not be unemployed for long, trust me. Will not be unemployed for long. And like I said, it's looking like more and more that Ilie could be heading to Austin. So keep an eye on that. Speaking of LAFC are finalizing a deal to sign. This is why this one doesn't get any kind of breaking news sounder, because the news hasn't broken yet. And we're not in a position to fix. LAFC finalizing a deal to sign Norway Youth International central midfielder Odin Thiago Holm from Celtic on loan. And so this is where we end up going to Transfermarkt to try to figure out what we know about Odin Thiago Holm, turning 22 in January. And he broke through with Vålerenga before joining Celtic, finalizing the loan. Odin Thiago Holm, and this is where we go to Transfermarkt to try to get acclimated quickly. Market value €2 million, according to our friends at Transfermarkt. TP Sports Management would be your agent of choice, and he had his value max out December 5th of 23. Where it was at 3, and now it's back down to 2 million. Spent most of his time in the Norway national team. He has 9, 10, 16, and 11, 27 appearances across all of the U's with 1 goal. Under contract at Celtic through the end of May 28, so the end of the 27 fiscal year. So the end of the 27 fiscal year is midfield, central midfield. Most of Thiago Holm's time has been spent in the central midfield. though he can play an attacking mid or a defensive mid, but most of the time he just stays at home as a central midfielder. So Valarenga had him at $2.5 million July 1st of 23. That's when he moved over. Before then, it was with Ranheim's youth, Valarenga, Tiller, IL, and then back to Valarenga on loan and transfer. So took the middle name Thiago after Thiago Alcantara in 2017. Valarenga has a 15% sell-on fee from the time at Celtic. So Valarenga is going to be getting a bit of a payday, whatever the payday is, and it will end up with Odin Thiago Holm, perhaps, possibly, probably heading to LAFC. Turns 22 in January, 16 appearances with Celtic since joining in 23. Peripheral figure this year with just 24 minutes played in the league across 3 appearances. And last season, 9 appearances, 219 minutes, had an assist in the SFA Cup. In the one match, he played 72 minutes. He had a goal. So 107 matches across all comps since 2019. 14 goals, 6 assists, 5,174 minutes. Most of his time split between central midfield and defensive midfield, 22 and 21 appearances on first-team duty, and 2 goals in each. 12 as an attacking midfielder with 2 goals there as well. So most of his stats with Valarenga, 6 goals, 4 assists in 76 games. And then if you add the second team, it's 13 goals in 90 appearances and 5 assists along the way. But, 16 matches with Celtic, 1 goal, 1 assist so far for Odin Thiago Holm. According to, who's saying this? Bogert and Ben Jacobs. The move bolsters LAFC's midfield, which is currently undergoing plenty of change. Atuesta's loan from Palmeiras expired, left the club. Lewis O'Brien's loan from Forest, done. LAFC wants to re-sign him. 2025 mid-season kicks off in mid-February. Club's reporting for preseason in the next few weeks. So, Odin Thiago Holm at the moment, cool. It's like you're just adding bodies, and you're hoping that you can find something in a bottle with Odin Thiago Holm. It's going to be 22 January the 18th. So there's that this morning. Don't know if you heard this in the morning espresso, and I would recommend as a part of our morning programming that you catch up with Jason on the morning espresso. It's about 10 minutes of your time, and Jason runs through all the headlines and all the stuff to kind of keep an eye on and keep a lookout for as you go. But didn't know if you saw this. From Football Italia, a Manchester, this is the headline. Lorenzo Bettoni, Manchester United midfielder, and Reina are among Mendes clients linked with Milan moves. Sergio Conceição's agent, Jorge Mendes, reportedly working to bring more clients to the San Siro in coming months, including Manuel Ugarte and Gio Reyna. Milan preparing for the transfer window with their new coach Conceição, who has signed a contract to 2026. Mendes has been in talks with Milan for several days, and according to Gazzetta and Corriere dello Sport, more clients of the Portuguese agent could join Conceição at the San Siro in coming months. According to Gazzetta, the first player offered by Mendes is Francisco Trincao, formerly Barca and Wolves, currently contracted with Sporting CP. As for the central midfield role, Daniel Bragança is an option if Ismael Benacer doesn't guarantee he can play consistently in the second half of the season. Reina has been linked with a move to the San Siro, but his recurring fitness issues may affect his chances to join the Rossoneri. As per Corriere dello Sport, Manchester United midfielder Manuel Ugarte is on the Rossoneri's agenda, but the Uruguayan international can't join in January, given that Milan can no longer sign non-EU players in this term. So keep an eye out on that. We mentioned yesterday Brandon Vasquez and Monterrey have mutually agreed to part ways to break the contract, and so that means that Brandon Vasquez would be leaning toward being a free agent. Question now for Brandon Vasquez, where do you go? For me, and like I said, this is just for me. For me, I'm leaning towards San Diego. Because in San Diego, you've got Chucky Lozano, and then you end up with someone up top that can help Chucky, and you have that positional gravity that we talk about. Folks are drawn to Chucky Lozano. Brandon Vasquez would be open. Will Tyler Heaps take that kind of a leap and see what the availability is? He's probably going to be kicking the tires, so we'll see what happens with the tire kicking and everything there. But it appears that Brandon Vasquez and Monterrey are on the outs. It's like, thanks, fam. Kiss, kiss, kiss out the door, and we'll see you later. So we'll see what happens with Brandon Vasquez. And like I said, I have no report, no inkling, no nothing, no notification, no knowledge one way or the other. But for me, just on general, premise and sitting there and going, ooh, San Diego. Just thinking. A couple of notes from Ben Jacobs this morning. And like I said, at Jacobs Ben would be a recommended follow for those of you on the media that is social and the 280 character app. West Ham have confirmed Jared Bowen sustained a fractured foot injury against Liverpool on Sunday, expected to be out until at least February. Set your fantasy teams accordingly. Let's see. Michail Antonio has been discharged from hospital, now recovering at home following the operation on a broken leg sustained in the car crash. That's great news. Then back on the 9th, remember that Bournemouth had agreed to a deal in principle to sign Mattai Akimboni from DC United this January. It was looking like the U.S. Youth International center back was going to join for a total package of around $2.5 million plus a sell-on clause. That is now getting closer and closer to happening. Akimboni flew to Bournemouth to undergo a medical. Once again, the total package still locked in at about 2.5, as revealed earlier this month. But Akimboni to Bournemouth from DC United. Good piece of business for DC United, but how will you fill in that space? And what will you do with the $2.5 million? That would, maybe you'll fix the grass at Audi Field. Just saying. A little infrastructure never hurt anybody, but we will see what the desires are of DC United as the Akimboni deal looks like it is getting closer and closer and closer to happening. So we will see what happens there. But Akimboni looks like he is moving from DC United to Bournemouth for the tune of about $2.5 million. Mateus Cunha has received a 2-game ban for misconduct following an altercation after the loss to Ipswich earlier this month. Also has been fined £80,000. Quoting the FA, Mateus Cunha has been suspended for 2 games, fined £80,000 following the Premier League fixture between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Ipswich Town on Saturday, 14 December 2024 period. The forward was charged with misconduct, and it was alleged that he acted in an improper manner after the final whistle. He admitted the charge, and the sanctions were subsequently imposed by an independent regulatory commission. Full written reasons for this case will be published in due course. So there you go. And so there you go with that news involving Mateus Cunha. So the 2-game ban for him. Also, Wayne Rooney has left Plymouth Argyle with immediate effect. Mutual decision after a run of 1 win in 14 matches. Wayne Rooney out the door. Mike Phelan and Simon Ireland also depart. First-team coach Kevin Nanskevell and club captain Joe Edwards will lead the team for the match against Bristol City on New Year's Day. Plymouth Argyle, by the way. And I want to double check these numbers and let you know where things are in the table for Rooney. Rooney was not. It was a 9-game winless run, 1 win in 14. Bottom of the championship. Appointed in May on a 3-year deal. Leaves Plymouth Argyle after 7 months in charge. 4 points from safety after all of that stuff. Last game in charge was on Sunday when Argyle were beaten 2-0 at fellow strugglers Oxford. Rooney said, quote, "I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the board of Plymouth, in particular Simon Hallett, Neil Dewsnip, who I shared great relationships with." And then 3 more sentences, 4 more sentences, 5 more sentences, and mentioned Nanskevell. So goals scored, by the way. Here are the numbers. By the numbers, as they say. Plymouth under Wayne Rooney. 22nd in goals scored with 22. 22nd in shots with 238. 22nd chances created with 177. 24th in goals conceded, 51. 24th in shots conceded inside the box at 284. I don't think that's good. 25 matches in all competitions. 5, 6, and 14 was Rooney's record. 25 goals in 25 matches, 53 conceded, and a win rate of 20%. The way things are right now in the championship. Blank you on Millwall. This is the bottom half, 13 through 24. And it's only, top to, 13 through 24 separated by 11 points. Millwall, Preston, they're 13-14. They're at 29. Coventry City's at 28. John Nason's loving life at the moment. Derby County's at 27. QPR's at 26. Stoke and Luton, both at 25, but goal difference has Luton at a minus 15 in goal difference already. Oxford United is at 24 points. And so, literally, here's how it is. QPR is 17th, 5 points from safety. Stoke and Luton, 18, 19, 4 points from safety. Oxford United right now is at 24 points, and they are 3 points from safety. Hull, 1 point from safety, 22 points. 24 matches played. So they're past the halfway point. The three right now at the bottom of the championship. Cardiff at 21 points, Pompey at 20 points, Plymouth Argyle at 18. Plymouth Argyle, by the way, the worst goal difference at minus 29. Not even close. A lot of folks thought that it was a great idea at the beginning when Rooney showed up at Plymouth Argyle, but it just never took off. Next up for them, home to Bristol City, at Stoke, at Brentford in the FA Cup, home to Oxford. So they can, there's some room to kind of sit there and go, okay, we can make a move here. We can make a move, but we'll see. Jean Duran has been charged over his reaction to the Newcastle red that he received. Improper conduct by the FA following his reaction to the sending off against Newcastle on Boxing Day. He argued with the fourth, kicked a water bottle on the sidelines following a straight red for what Anthony Taylor deemed a stamp on Fabian Schär. A stamp. Villa striker already serving a 3-match ban over the initial incident has been given until Friday to respond to the charge. Unai Emery said that Ollie Watkins needs to regain his confidence as striker still searches for his best form. Got a goal and an assist in the 2-2 draw with Brighton on Monday to wrap up 2024. So, Jean Duran might be out for a while. We'll see what happens. And Ruben Amorim, by the way, has admitted that Manchester United are in a relegation fight. They're in a fight to avoid. When was the last time you heard anything like that from anybody about Manchester United? We're in a relegation fight. That's never a good thing to hear. It's never a good thing to hear. Especially for something that screaming that you heard was Drew Dickinson, by the way. Ruben Amorim admits that they're in a relegation fight. Dismal loss at Old Trafford, described as embarrassing and grim. 7 points above the drop at the halfway point of the season. Amorim conceded after the game. He said, that's really clear. It's one of the most difficult moments in the history of Manchester United. We have to address it with honesty. When you have these kinds of moments, especially in the big clubs, it's really hard to turn things around, especially when you don't have a lot of time to train the basics to cope with the difficult moments. So we have to acknowledge our position. The way you see the league, everybody can beat everybody, so we have to engage and focus on surviving. Next up Sunday is Liverpool. Gee, thanks. Inform Newcastle, and this is the writing from our friends at Sky. Alex, I know you'll enjoy this. Inform Newcastle simply overpowered Amorim's side in the opening 30 minutes. United's fourth consecutive defeat effectively confirmed long before halftime. Amorim admitted they were the better team. They started very strong. And by the way, there is no budget And I know that I know that everyone is just profoundly disappointed by hearing this. No budget for transfers in January for Manchester United, according to the Manchester Evening News. Quote, it's claimed United would have to sell to buy to comply with PSR, profit and sustainability, and financial fair play after they spent £205.7 million on 5 signings last summer. External source on the report said United, quote, can't do anything, end quote, without movement from their squad. However, United staff reportedly insist they're prepared if an opportunity arises in the winter window, despite Dan Ashworth's exit as sporting director earlier this month. Amorim admitted this to a reporter. You know the situation better than I. It's not the case I'm not arriving here and I can spend a lot of money changing all the team. You know the situation, so it's not a point to talk about it. Burnley have signed defender Oliver Sonn to a new 4.5-year deal from Silkeborg for an undisclosed fee. Let's see. I'm trying to see what other news might be floating around here. We've got loan spells extended. Paddy McNair has returned to parent club San Diego FC after his loan at West Brom. 29-year-old made 3 appearances for the Baggies against Fleetwood, Blackburn, and Cardiff. So it's all turned around. Looking at the papers, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Once again, Kaylor, Hodges, and the New Year's resolutions for USL Championship, plus movement. Both USL League One and USL Championship coming up in just a little bit. Avoiding the 3 and the 4-year 4-letter paper as we always do. According to the Daily Mirror, which is like a step above and maybe a little sideways from the 3 and the 4-letter paper, Premier League clubs have to submit their latest financial figures by the close of business New Year's Eve. So let's see. So 3:18 in the afternoon. So they have an hour and 42 minutes. As 4 clubs face anxious waits to see if they've satisfied PSR. Kyle Walker could leave Manchester City in the January transfer window, it has been claimed. And CR39, or however the heck old he is open to leaving Al Nassr when his contract expires, opening the door to a blockbuster move. Who, in their right mind, would grab that gentleman? What league has he not conquered? Sorry, that's Zlatan. What league has he not attended and gotten a huge payday in? What are we looking at? Russia, China, Japan, Australia. Sorry, Bam. Where has he not gone where the paycheck would be easily attainable and be huge? Abu Dhabi, the UAE, somewhere else in the Middle East to continue to be an ambassador for the upcoming world competition in 2034? Just saying. Where? Where? I don't know. Brighton could recall Carl Rushworth from his loan spell from Hull after a temporary move. Telegraph, we mentioned Akimboni. Any Saudi club planning to offer Marcus Rashford will need to sell before they can buy. Jake O'Brien from Everton has interest from foreign clubs. We'll test whether he'll be allowed out on loan in January. Thomas Tuchel not expected to attend the Premier League match between Brentford and Arsenal New Year's Day. And Julian Lopetegui will be given more time at West Ham despite the 5-0 loss to Liverpool. Independent. Kevin De Bruyne will be able to discuss a summer move to a foreign club later this week after revealing that contract talks with Manchester City have not yet resumed. Remember, De Bruyne negotiated his own deal last time. So any talk, and there's been talk of San Diego as a part of what's going on, any talk is going to go directly through Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne is De Bruyne. I mean, this isn't where you're dialing up De Bruyne's agent, or if you dial up an agent's phone number for Kevin De Bruyne, hello? Is this Kevin De Bruyne's agent? Yes. Who am I speaking with? Kevin De Bruyne. No, I want to talk to his agent. I am the agent. That's what you get with Kevin De Bruyne. You're negotiating with Kevin De Bruyne. KDB is negotiating for KDB, not anybody else to give the 20% or whatever KDB's at the table. Tyler Heap's on line 2. According to the Times, Barcelona's hopes of keeping Dani Olmo are hanging by a thread after a Spanish court, by the way, for the second time, turned down the club's attempts to register the attacking midfielder for the second half of the season. And there are clubs that are waiting to pounce. Wales hopes of ending their 12-match losing streak in Six Nations. That's rugby. Celtic ready to let Stephen Walsh join KV Mechelen on loan. Thursday's Old Firm. Don Robertson will be the man in the middle. Left back Alex Valley has dropped a hint he'll see out the season at Celtic amid speculation he could be recalled by Barcelona. And Hearts fans are planning on protesting against the club's hierarchy ahead of the opening match for 2025. Who knew Hearts was having ownership issues or spending issues or whatever you want to call them? That never happens. Manchester United and City, by the way, would be the two that would be interested in Dani Olmo, and they're looking to pick him up for a free. Real Madrid would prefer to sign Trent Alexander-Arnold in January, willing to wait until the summer when his contract expires if Liverpool don't want to sell him next month. Isak, and this is the 3-letter paper, so take the information at your own peril. Isak is prepared to stay at Newcastle if they finish in the top 4 of the Premier League, dealing a blow to Arsenal, who are interested in signing the 25-year-old. Chelsea are eyeing a switch to Ipswich's Liam Delap, especially when he scores against you. Brighton's Republic of Ireland forward Evan Ferguson, also as they look to provide competition for first-choice striker Nico Jackson. Cristiano Ronaldo has refused to rule out leaving Al Nassr in the summer. 39, by the way. Forward free to negotiate with other clubs from the January 1st. Lopetegui going to get more time. Wolves have made Lens defender Kevin Danso their top center back transfer target in January. Bayer Leverkusen among a number of clubs eyeing Manchester City's James McAtee. That's the 4-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. Newcastle, according to the 3-letter paper, lining up a £20 million move for Burnley's keeper James Trafford. Athletic Bilbao have identified Norwich midfielder Borja Sainz as the ideal replacement for Nico Williams should the 22-year-old Spain winger leave the club in the summer. Spurs unlikely to turn the loan of 28-year-old Germany forward Timo Werner into a permanent, meaning he's going to return to Leipzig in the summer. AC Milan and Napoli among clubs who could move for Chris Wood from Forest should the New Zealand international fail to agree to a new contract with the club. Manchester United and Juve have shown serious interest in signing Barcelona's Andreas Christensen in January. Newcastle are in a strong position to clinch the signing of 27-year-old England defender Fikayo Tomori from AC Milan in January. And Manchester United are continuing to monitor the progress of Bournemouth defender Milos Kerkez, according to Fabrizio Romano. So that's your rundown of all the gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, and how to watch it. It'll come up after our buddy Kaylor Hodges. And once again, this morning, since it is our last 2024 SDH, I need your New Year's resolutions personal. I need your soccer New Year's resolutions for your favorite club. Then I need your resolution for your mortal enemies club. But if you're going to do that, I need a serious one and a joke one. If you're going to slam on your opponent, I need a serious one on your opponent. And I also need a goofy one on your opponent. So now, that means we bring in Kaylor Hodges, who's hanging out with us as he always is when we knock on his door and we sit there and go, yo, Kaylor, we need you to come on the show.
Hey.
All right. So personal New Year's resolution for you as you head into 2025 would be what, sir?
I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm just looking to eat better. That's all I'm trying to do. I feel pretty happy with myself, but sometimes the greasy food calls my name a little bit. So let's stay away from that. And I think I'll be a happy guy for 2025.
Well, I don't think you should stay away from it all the way. I mean, I think moderation is always a good thing to look at. I don't think you need to stay away. I mean, because look, going to Rojo has its advantages.
I mean, listen, everything in moderation, including moderation.
Yeah.
It's okay to go crazy every now and then. But, maybe not every single night when I'm, looking at what do I want to make, and it includes a half stick of butter every time. Maybe let's cut that out.
I mean, come on. I mean, but I mean, seriously though, when the boss and I go to Birmingham, we always make a point to go to Rojo. We always get the tachos,
It's very
and
good.
literally, it is a meal in and of itself. You get the big burger, you get the salad, you get the tachos, and you've got 3 days worth of eating for
Yes.
whatever event you're there for. All right, so then for your favorite club, your earmarked club, your home city club, what would be a resolution that you would give to Birmingham Legion in 2025?
I want them to go up north just a little bit. I want them to give the only 10 I see. I want them to get us a 10. We haven't had a 10 in the midfield for the last 2 years. I want a proper number 10, someone who's going to distribute the ball because Ronaldo Damas is great. He's a bona fide goal scorer, but it doesn't matter if he never sees the ball. So someone get us a number 10, and I'll be a very happy guy.
So then the mortal enemy with Memphis 901 no longer being on the board, the mortal enemy for that reminds me, I need to go shopping. The mortal enemy now for Birmingham is whom?
I don't know because my only resolution at this point for Memphis would be simply exist. Um, I think most Legion fans absolutely hate Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Pittsburgh is the mortal enemy now. There was a while where Pittsburgh was more hated than Memphis, so I would assume Pittsburgh. And I don't know what the New Year's resolution would be for Pittsburgh because I I don't know. Bob Lilly scares me. Um, B, what do I tell them? Hey guys, spend money, why don't you? That's not a good resolution because I don't want them to do that. But on the other hand, Bob Lilly seems to have his powers through being, USL's version of the Tampa Bay Rays of if we're trading for this guy, you should have really taken advantage of that because clearly he's good. I don't know what to do with Pittsburgh.
Because I was going to say traditionally what we ask for in these situations is okay. So a serious resolution in addition to the joke resolution for your mortal enemy. That was my one request of folks this morning. If you're going to have a resolution for your mortal enemy, I need a serious one and the joke one that it's like, oh, I want them to stink. Okay, well then give me a serious one that's attached to that club as well, in addition to you wanting them to stink. So that was my condition for giving mortal enemy resolutions this morning.
I have a bunch of resolutions for around the league that, however, I have come up with a few if you are interested.
As you wish, sir. That's what we were here for.
All right. Now, in terms of New Year's resolutions, I did go with the just general resolution stuff,
Yeah,
right? And I'm going to start off with FC Tulsa.
sure.
FC Tulsa, I want you to hit leg day one time. Your core is great. You can lay off the abs, but you need to fill out this roster a bit. There's no legs to this roster. What you have as your core is awesome, but you don't get results in soccer with only having a core. You need the legs. You need someone who's going to be your goal scorer, Stevanovic back, of course.
Yeah,
But
saw that.
fill out this roster. Let's get some legs underneath it because the core is great.
All right. So then, with Tulsa gaining a scorer, there's been some other news. Monterey Bay signs a player who competed in Anton Soybeer competed in the Faroe Islands. And by the way, there are some really cool looking venues in the Faroe Islands. San Antonio bringing Alex Cronale over. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, great pickup for San Antonio. I think he fits kind of the general vibe of San Antonio. It's kind of hard to say what to expect from San Antonio with the new coach. Um, I don't really know how he's going to play ball personally. So, but when you look at the pieces around San Antonio and you look at the back line, I think that Cronale can be a true ball carrying center back, and he's really good with breaking the lines. And I think that when you're looking at what traditionally San Antonio has done, which is, kind of the sit back, quick counterattack thing, Alex Cronale is amazing at that. And if you're looking at someone who's going to be a goal scorer, I mean, you have Tainter, you have Crognale, you have Juan Agudelo. You have three guys who are real dangers on set pieces, and I think that might end up becoming your real calling card if you're San Antonio is win those fouls, you're going to win every single header. I think it's great for San Antonio.
And Harry is in this morning, as he is from his time in San Antonio. His New Year's resolution, since we're discussing San Antonio, for Harry personally, lose weight, resolutions for club. For San Antonio to have better relations with the fans and the supporters groups. Last year was below. For Kaylor's club, for the Legion to take that next step. For his mortal enemy, for Harry, it's funny for me to be nicer to MLS. Even Darth Garber, his resolution to play Open Cup for MLS clubs and MLS2 clubs. So for all MLS clubs, Harry's resolution to play Open Cup and MLS Next Pro teams as well. And for San Antonio FC with Tainter and Crognale, he says, watch out, USL.
I agree personally. I think that if Tainter can regain to his, 2022, 2023, 2022, whichever year it was that they won it all, if he can return to that level where he was my personal MVP, I think that this San Antonio team, especially in that center back pairing, could be really dangerous and really, really good.
As of about 13 minutes ago, now 14 minutes ago, from the Charleston Battery, their own selves, Nick Marcanic is set to formally join La Liga 2 side CD Castellón in the January European transfer window as a part of the Spanish club's 24-25 season. Charleston received a 6-figure fee for the transfer and retained a sell-on clause as a part of the agreement. Marcanic leaves a legacy as one of the greatest goal scorers in club and USL Championship history. End of paragraph 2. Paragraph 3 gives you stats. Paragraph 4 gives you more stats. Paragraph 5 gives you career stats. Then you end up with photos and highlights and quotes. So one of the worst kept secrets is out the door. Marcanic set to officially complete his move to CD Castellón.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think they actually announced that formally already. I think that just because the transfer window opens tomorrow, it's the official thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome. And one thing Charleston's really done really, really well is those sell-on clauses. Those sell-on clauses have been awesome. And I am trying to remember who it was this last time. Oh my gosh, who did they sell to Real Salt Lake who eventually went over to
Barajas.
Barajas, thank you. They did something crazy with Barajas, which was they had a direct sell on to Liga MX it was like I think it was $1 million transfer fee. And they said no. They went to Real Salt Lake where they sold him for, I believe it was a $250,000, maybe it was $500,000. But they put in the transfer fee and they got $2 million plus what they sold him for. They have this grand vision of we can sell on because we think our guys are good now, but we think they're going to be even better later, and that price tag is going to go up. They just have wonderful vision for this stuff. They're also looking at getting, according to reports, a player in from St. Louis City SC. So
there you go, fella.
That's I can't remember, but he was one of their guys, and they just continue to bring in this just talent factory, and it's always impressive.
All right, so Bart Kaylor over at the Soccer for US POD, he has a resolution himself: visit a USL stadium in 2025. So along those lines, Bart says that you need to give your top USL stadia to visit in 2025.
The top one on my list right now is purely for the just novelty of it.
Yeah.
I desperately, I want to go to Oakland because I didn't get to go last year.
True.
But going to the Oakland Coliseum just feels like it's going to be crazy. The early reports is they're going to have over 20,000 people in attendance for their first game already. That's not even including as we get further through. Mm-hmm. The Oakland Coliseum could be bumping throughout this year, especially if they're good. And you get to visit the Coliseum one last time before they eventually move on to their possibly 20,000 seater stadium over at the hangar. So I think that one's going to be the top one for me. I'm planning to go out to Portland for Portland, Maine this year. Just I don't know anything about the stadium. I don't know much about that, but I mean, it seems like a wonderful soccer town. That one's a great one. Charleston is a great time.
Yeah.
If you have not been to Patriots Point, it's a great time. And of course, you have to say your Colorado Springs and your Louisville cities because, of course.
Yes. I'll give you another one. Tidewater Landing when it opens.
I am trying to figure out when we go up to Portland, there's an Amtrak straight to Providence. And I'm trying to figure out to hit the double away day.
Nice. Okay. So so to recap, Oakland, Colorado Springs, Charleston, Portland for P Hop, and Tidewater Landing for Rhode Island FC when it opens. So those would be the 5. Did I miss anybody?
I don't think so.
Okay. Speaking of and Harry mentioning Lexington's new stadium, would be nice as well. So since you mentioned P Hop, let me get into P Hop a little bit. And they've signed some familiar names. Ollie Wright, for those that know about his time in Huntsville with Huntsville City, and also bringing Mikey Lopez into the fold. I thought that those were really interesting signings out of the block.
I mean, talk about having your number 6 and having your number 10 all in one. I said it in our personal USL show Discord, but I think that Ollie Wright has potential to be the golden assist leader next year. I think he is the real deal. I think that in terms of playmaker, he's your attacking mid. I think he has the potential to be really special in League One next year. This is a fantastic signing for Portland. If you're looking at Mikey Lopez, I think that you're getting a defensive mid. You're getting someone who can play anywhere around the pitch. You're getting someone who was USL Rookie of the Year. You're looking at someone who has a lot of minutes. I think he is getting up to 10,000 minutes in the USL. I mean, he has so much experience that when you're looking at a young club and you're looking at what looks to be a young roster where he is the senior head of it all, why not get Birmingham Legion's first ever captain? Why not? I mean, he is going to be returning to his old coach. He is going to be probably the oldest or just the most veteran player on this team. And it's great for him while he was in Birmingham and injured, he took on a coaching role with the youth academies. And for him, it clearly coaching is a part of it. I'm not saying he's going to be a player coach, but seems like he might be relied on to be kind of the coach on the field, during the matches. I think it's a wonderful signing for Portland.
Bart Kaylor is also saying that he's demanding an SDH Network roadie to Tidewater Landing upon the opening of the stadium. And no, I'm not going to dispute that. I think we're all for that. Morning, Nate, by the way. Hi, USL show, RIFC. And Bart is also saying 1 Knox because of the new live, work, play element that looks like it's going to be on display in Knoxville at their new stadium, the old home of the Smokies and the old Knoxville Blue Jays. Now turning into another one of those modular live, work, play kind of deals that we're seeing that is a part of the fabric of, frankly, USL League One and the younger teams in USL Championship. But 1 Knox with their new stadium unveiling is also something that looks like Bart. I think Bart just wants to do the Soccer for US POD, and he wants us to do as many road shows as humanly possible. I think that's what Bart's aiming for.
Listen, if Bart wants to find soccer down here and the USL show to essentially become college game day for lower league soccer,
hey, I will not complain one damn bit about us turning into to the equivalent. Look, U.S. Soccer game day, SDH game day, no problems whatsoever doing those kinds of things and going from point to point to point whenever there's no when there isn't an Atlanta United game that's interfering, or maybe we'll just send folks, it's like we got Atlanta United as a base, and then, oh, by the way, on the network, you can go to SDH game day and we're here or here or here. But no,
can Jarrett be like the bear? Can he be like in the background, just giving stats?
Oh, absolutely.
Randomly?
Well, Jared would be more than that. He'd be actually giving you winners.
Oh, this is true.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you mentioned resolutions.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention a random club,
Yep.
and I'm going to ask you for a resolution. We'll start in USL Championship. Santa Barbara Sky.
Uh, I see the thing with them is I am just going to ask for them to have, and this is such a cop out, but just hear me out.
Yep.
I'm asking them to have a resolution just in general.
All right.
They need a plan. They need to have some kind of plan going forward because they love to do this thing where they say, we exist, we're going to the USL Super League, and then they'll disappear for 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll say, hey, we are planning to play at Santa Barbara's UC Santa Barbara Stadium, and then they'll disappear for 9 months. And then they'll show up and say, we're delaying for a year in League One, and they'll disappear for 6 months. And then they'll come back after 6 months and say, we're going to the championship. And something tells me we won't hear from them for about another 5 months. I need a plan. I need a written out plan. I need them to make their own resolution because I don't know if they've thought this far ahead.
Detroit City.
Ooh, this is one I already had a little plan for. And listen, I'm just going to throw it out there, fellas. It's okay. I'm dealing with it too. It's okay to go a little thin. It's all right. Like the hair's going, that's fine. But I'm asking Detroit City to get a little Rogaine because while it's okay for us fellas to be a little thin up top, it's not okay for a soccer team to be thin up top. I need them to sign me a forward. I need one. I need them to score because their defense looks awesome. I need goals, especially with Maxi Rodriguez out.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Who's next? Lou City.
Lou City, another one I planned for. I was going to be honest with Lou City. I think they need to hit the treadmill because they need to lose a little bit of weight. I think that this roster is a little big. I think they have a lot of talent that they are frankly hoarding. That I think that they can sell on and and continue to make good with. I think that they
Listen to you being a socialist all of a sudden.
yeah, I know. What am I? Oh, that reminds me. I'm working on a video for the USL show, and I found a quote from the first ever, like the creator of the USL, where he said that the quote unquote the Christians were blaming soccer on the communists, and it's okay because we can't be blamed on the communists anymore. Which incredible article. I can't wait to share that. But TLDR, I think that Lou City can sell on. They can sell these players or do the thing that I don't love, but trade for players. Because right now they don't have a goalkeeper. I mean, they have Troutman, they have I can't remember his Fondes, but I don't really believe in what they have in goal. I think they can sell a player or they can work out a trade to get a goalkeeper in, but they'll probably just do what they do every year and just get a goalkeeper in on loan because they're really good at that. And they'll probably win the league and all that kind of stuff. Come back with a vengeance because I don't know, Lou City.
Wow. The Miami FC.
Same thing with Santa Barbara, I guess. Make a plan because right now Miami and North Carolina for me are in the same boat of I just simply want them to show that they're alive. At least Miami has said, hey, these 5 players are definitely not coming back. North Carolina has not shown anything other than being included in the schedule. I don't know if North Carolina is existing at the moment. And I don't mean that as in they're going to fold.
Yeah.
I mean that in they are not showing any remnants of life. So for both Miami and North Carolina, just give me something, drip feed me anything. We are going to play. We are here. We have a player. Trust us. I don't know.
I need some news. I need some news to talk about you guys on my show.
Yes.
Sacramento Republic.
Sacramento Republic. Honestly, with the news that they are getting Neil Collins, which just incredible stuff for them.
Mm-hmm.
I just need them to kind of what Harry said, take that next step. Because last year, after Roro went down, it all fell apart. The entire year last year, they were sleepwalking. I'm just going to ask them, hey, go to a sleep doctor, go get a sleep test because right now clearly you're not awake most of the day, because they get out there on the pitch and it feels like they are just falling to everybody else's level despite having the best talent in the league. I think that they need to get it together, and I think they need to wake up.
League One, FC Naples.
Hey, I'm just going to tell them to whatever their New Year's resolution was this year, keep doing that, because I love what they're doing early on. I don't know if this is going to be they make the playoffs the first year, but they are going to do something that it's really hard for expansion teams to do, which is be competitive. I love their early roster. I love every little bit about it. I think that they can continue making signings like they are doing now. Maybe if they can get one real deal superstar up top, if they can get some big name up top, and there's a couple of really good ones out there. I'm thinking about like an Ethan Howard from NOCO. If they want to continue the NOCO to Naples little pipeline they have going on there, I think that they can be contending for that last playoff spot. And if they can do even more than that, awesome.
You mentioned free agency, and I want to get to free agency as the next topic here. But I'm not done with teams. Texoma.
Yeah. Texoma, again, they are going to be looped into the other teams that are alive but don't exist, because they don't exist to me right now.
Okay.
They haven't shown me anything. They haven't given me anything. They have a coach. They have a really good coach, but the coach can't play. Although, I mean, he has Premier League minutes. Maybe he can, but something tells me he can't do it all on his own. You need to just give me something.
All right, and so my last team for you in USL League One is the Murder Owls, Los Bujos, with the Union Omaha.
Run it back.
There we go.
Just do it again.
Don't mess up.
Yeah, I mean, Dom Casciato has proved to be an amazing coach. I think if I'm being really honest with Union Omaha, I think you give him whatever contract he wants. Give him whatever he wants. And you know what? Throw in what the Wraith Rovers did and put in a release clause that's nice and like just a massive release clause, because there is going to be a USL championship, a MLS team that is going to come clawing for Dom Casciato, because he is just that good. I genuinely believe that. Give him whatever he wants. Keys to the castle, and make sure that he is there when you open up the doors of your new stadium and play in the USL Championship like you are planning. Because if you don't hold on to him and you don't get the absolute payday of a lifetime, I think they played it wrong.
You mentioned free agency and some of the guys that are out there. Who else are you looking at when it comes to the available free agents and USL and possible fits that would make sense? Because I know I'm not talking financially, but because this is like unlimited budgets and all this kind of stuff, but all things being equal, who are some of the other free agents out there that you're keeping an eye on that could be making moves and should be making moves, and where they might fit in the whole process here? Who are you looking at?
Right now it's I think you can look at any of Memphis.
Yeah, really.
I think you're still looking at. I think Ethan Howard from NOCO might be the best free agent striker on the market.
Okay.
I think he's that good. If I am looking down the list of players that are officially free agents, I'm looking at, and maybe an Owen Lamb, I think he's still a really good right back that can be. Granted, I don't even know if he's with Orange County right now. He might be. Akeem Ward is a left back that is really, really good that needs to be picked up by somebody. Cal Jennings, I wouldn't be shocked if he already has a team, because why wouldn't he? He's Cal Jennings.
Right.
You're looking over at a Bruno Lapa, who, for all intents purposes, the first half of the season was the best attacking midfielder in the league for what it's worth, which my opinion is not worth that much, but I at least have it.
Yes.
I think you're already seeing it get a little bit thin. right now, I think the biggest deal for everybody is finding out what's going on with North Carolina.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at this North Carolina team and who could be available, I mean, you're looking at a Paco Craig who played a lot of minutes. Colin Martin played a lot of minutes. Jake McGuire is a really good goalkeeper. Bryce Washington, a really good center back. You're looking at Ezra Armstrong, who I think should have been the first league or first team All USL, not second. I think he was the best wing back right last year in the league. Alex Anderson, Lamar Baptista, Rodrigo da Costa. I mean, Jaden Cervania. You're looking at a lot of names that would make any team in the USL better, and we just don't know where they are. So I think we're really waiting on North Carolina and finding out who is not going to be there before I can really give a full opinion on the best free agents. Because right now it's spreading around Memphis players and finding out what's going on with North Carolina.
Yeah, Harry says, yeah, and North Carolina FC has not had any offseason roster news, which is kind of shocking.
Yeah.
For one of the signature clubs in USL Championship not to have anything going on.
This is where I am going to say, throw my hands up, and I'm not going to just be like, hey, I'm going to spread all dirty whatever. But I think it's fairly out in the open at this point.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina's owner was trying to sell.
Yeah.
Right? North Carolina's owner was trying to sell the club. And now what that means for the Courage, no idea, because NWSL is not my forte. Love watching it. I know nothing about it.
Right.
I'm not in that world.
Right.
But USL side, he was looking to sell. And something tells me roster decisions are being held up by ownership decisions. While I think that North Carolina will be around next year because the USL has said they will be around next year, and I have no reason not to believe that, I don't know how much spending capacity North Carolina wants to do because those players are named are not cheap. They are not cheap players. Something tells me that they are waiting to find out who's owning the team so they know how much budget they are allowed to spend, essentially.
Yeah, right now you look at the roster at North Carolina FC, and here's who is listed on the page. Paco Craig, Shaft Brewer, Lamar Batista, Justin Malou, Ezra Armstrong, Bryce Washington, Daniel Navarro. Forwards, only 3 listed. Evan Conway, Rafa Mensing, and Wallace Anderson. Keepers, 3, Jake McGuire, Akira Fitzgerald, and Trevor Mulqueen. And then defenders, Ja'Cory Hayes, Rodrigo da Costa, Colin Martin, Luis Perez, Mikey Maldonado, Jaden Cervania, Raheem Somersault. So that is 7, 10, 13. So you've got 20 right now listed on the roster for North Carolina FC.
I don't think that's changed at all since the end of the season. Like, I don't think anything's been updated.
Okay.
If I had to guess, those are all players that were initially signed under under your 1-and-1s and multi-year contracts.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really don't know. We're just waiting for them. And it's a hard place for them because while I'm sure the players kind of have an idea, no one else does. And for a team like North Carolina FC, who, other than winning their championship, which is obviously a great step to do, I recommend every team to win championships.
Yes.
They seem to have taken a misstep every other time they have done anything. It always seems to be a constant misstep for North Carolina. I hope they get this next one right.
And with that look, then what is up next for the USL show, and what are you guys doing to turn 24 into 25?
We are also going to be doing New Year's resolutions. Not sure if that's going to be tonight or if that's going to be later on this week because everyone has New Year's Eve's plans. And, we are looking at a first ever video essay type video that I am currently doing the research on, which little spoiler just to get you excited. How about the first ever USL season? Back when they were the Southwest Independent Soccer League.
Ooh, see now you get Jason plugged into that pretty easily. That'll be pretty sweet. Looking forward to that. What are your plans for New Year's Eve, by the way, in God's time zone?
Honestly, no idea yet. Probably not staying up till midnight because I can't remember the last time I stayed up till midnight. So it's probably going to have a little personal bottle of champagne around like 8 o'clock and then go on my way and consider that the ball dropping or something.
There you go. No doubt. By the way, 20 minutes ago, Rhode Island FC announced they signed Hugo Bacharach to the 2025 roster. So,
Okay.
Following his first professional season in Minnesota, quote from Cano Smith, 2024 Super Draft selection, made his professional debut with Minnesota United in 24, 9 appearances for the MLS Next Pro side. So he was with Loons 2 last year, 1 goal, 1 assist. First career goal came against Sporting Kansas City 2 on September 22nd. So
he fits a lot of this Rhode Island roster construction, which is get veterans of the USL and supplement talent via young talent from MLS rosters. They seem to go after those young, kind of unproven MLS 2 players who are clearly very talented. And if that's where they kind of do your auxiliary pieces around your proven USL talents, like your JJs, JJ Williams, like your Koke Vegas, et cetera, et cetera. I think that it really fits the bill for them, and I'm excited to see how they use them.
Bacharach also spent time at Flint City Bucks in USL League 2 during his college years, 2 seasons, 22 and 23. Played at Fairleigh Dickinson in Indiana with his time there. And to bring everything full circle, where we mentioned Nick Marcanic and CD Castillon, that was where Bacharach spent 12 years Spanish Academy, spending a decade with Villarreal before moving to Castillon for his final 2 years before Fairleigh Dickinson and Indiana. You good for next Tuesday?
I will have to let you know because I am back to teaching, so I'll let you know.
All right. Well, yeah, whenever you get your schedule squared away, let me know, and then we can figure out when you can hide for a half an hour or so or 20 minutes, and then we can get everything going on. Unless, and just like I said, just let us know what your schedule is, and if we have to take a hiatus till training camps, we'll figure it out. But have a safe New Year, and be safe, my friend. We'll catch up with you soon.
See you then.
There's Kaylor Hodges from at the USL Show. And it's always good to catch up with Kaylor and get the lowdown of everything going on. It's been really cool to have Kaylor on basically since the playoffs started with USL Championship and USL League One, and having go all the way through now that we're in the finished the Apertura in the USL Super League, and we're waiting for the Clausura to start in the Super League. And catching up with everybody there. But, yeah, Harry said, yes, last year's roster, think they'll be like the Miami FC with the bare bones roster in 25 unless a change of ownership takes place. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on there with North Carolina FC. Abby is apparently now Bailey Boy suit shopping and wishing everyone a happy and safe New Year. Bailey Boy suit shopping for a wedding to travel to on Thursday. So that's interesting. So morning, Nate. Morning, Tom. Tom's resolution is easy, just a much better year for both of his 2 main clubs. And right there with you on a lot of fronts. Bart's resolution, save up money to travel in 20, don't you mean 25? Or are you planning on traveling in 26? So saving money in 25 for traveling in 26, Bart? Or was 26 a misprint? Atlanta United resolutions, keep the first things first winning for Nashville and Charlotte to stop trying to beef with Atlanta and focus on yourselves. So there's all of those. Morning Drunk Pirate. Hopefully you are okay and that you are having others taking the wheel of the ship and making sure that if you are going to be Drunk Pirate, that you're getting from point A to point B as you should. Morning, Alex. Let's see. Morning for OG. Jordan's resolutions, travel more. Soccer for Atlanta United to win a trophy. Mortal enemy for Messi and friends to finish below Atlanta United in the table and or go trophyless in 2025. Par. So instead of fixing the defense, we just sign another striker. Let's see. So I'm trying to see what else is going on. Oh, by the way, it appears that according to Fabrizio Romano, remember we were talking about Danny Olmo? And before we get out of here, apparently Danny Olmo's agent, and this is an exclusive in all capital letters to Fabrizio Romano. He is saying, okay, so Bart wants to save money in 25 to travel to 26. Got a plan for the World Cup. True. Danny Olmo's agent, Andy Berra, quote, the decision made by Danny is to stay at Barcelona as he wants to play for Barca. We are not considering any other option. Danny wants to play for Barcelona, and Berra is a super agent, according to Romano. So Danny Olmo was going to stick it out, apparently. It's wanting to play for Barcelona, despite all of the courts sitting there saying, well, no, you're not. Berra, apparently, I don't know, Court of Arbitration for Sport, I'm guessing. I don't know. I guess, perhaps, maybe. Who knows? But anyway, so yeah, Danny Olmo and his agent, we're staying put. We ain't moving. I hate to break it to you, but if the courts keep saying no, then you ain't playing at Barcelona. I don't know what else to tell you there, kid. But so we'll see. Yikes! Let's roll through the other papers and see if there's any other storylines to get into before we get out of here this morning. Once again, thanks for dropping by. Remember, no show tomorrow, but we'll be back normal time on Thursday. And then we will be back for Friday for the Friday free-for-all. And the Friday free-for-all is basically anybody who wants to come in can come in and say their piece. And I think we're going to be catching up with our friends from the Marshall Islands. And they will be dropping by, I think, at 10 o'clock. And so we'll catch up with them. That might be the only lock-in for a guest. And so we will see what is up with our friends from the Marshall Islands. And it'll be fun to catch up with them. Once again, you can get their jersey. You can go to their website. You can get their new No Home jersey, which is geared to their 2030 campaign, and all of the storylines that are off the field, all the environmental storylines that are attached to the Marshall Islands. Their new jerseys up. You can get their first jersey still. You can catch up with us and get the scarf, because we still have the scarves here at Office HD. So if you don't have a Marshall Island scarf, buy it through the store. We'll ship it to you, and that's how it'll roll. So that's how that goes. You buy the scarf through the store, and we ship it to you. So that's how the scarf goes with the Marshall Islands. So get the Marshall Islands scarf, get the Marshall Islands jerseys. We're going to catch up with them, I think, Friday at 10. And so we'll catch up with Matt and the communications director, Matt Webb, and hopefully technical director Lloyd Hours, 10 o'clock on Friday morning. But pretty much everything else is just a free-for-all and a street fight. Anybody who wants to come in can say anything. If they got resolutions, they got comments from what happened in 24, best of, getting ready for 25, all the things. And so that's where we are involving Friday's show. Because, once again, there's no real, ending of the week, kind of a thing. And so it's like, oh, okay, so we're kind of turning Friday, even though it is January the 3rd, into something that is, that is an end of a year, end of a week kind of a thing. So that's how we're treating Friday. So we'll see what's going on there. All right. So what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, and that's today. Yesterday in the Premier League, big win for Ipswich, and a big win at home for them, and that's helping their push to get out of the relegation zone. And so we'll see what happens there. So on ESPN, A-League late tonight at 11 o'clock. Auckland, Melbourne victory. 11:50, you've got A-League women, Newcastle and Central Coast Mariners. And then at 12:45, the other semifinal involving Gulf Cup of Nations, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. If you're looking for all the BNs, Nuestra Tele, CDO for the fans, Liga 1 Max, Liga 1 Max Pro, our buddy Nino Torres and Gold TV. You can get it at Fanatis, ftz.co/soccer down here. And you can become a true degenerate and look at all the things and keep an eye on Caleb Wiley with the League 1 contract with BN. And that's what I end up doing, is I'm watching a lot of Strasbourg through our friends at BN and through our friends at Fanatis. And so that's how we get that done on a daily basis. So once again, no show tomorrow. Back on Thursday, Power Hour in hour number 2, Nino and Nico. We'll talk about everything that happened New Year's Day. We'll get more resolutions and all those kinds of things. And thank all of you guys for being a part of the conversation that you always are. I'm going to wait on new front struts on the Subaru and finish the year as only we can, handing over a credit card and spending an entirely huge amount of money on something that you didn't want to spend on. But anyway, be back on Thursday morning, 9:05 Eastern time, back at it, Power Hour. and getting you ready for the Power Hour in hour number 1. So for everybody here at SDH, be safe tonight, please. If you celebrate indoors and be there with those that are closest to you and those that you love very much as we put a bow on 24 and head into 25, and we'll see what 25 holds on a bunch of different fronts. So for everybody here at SDH, I'm just John. Played safe. Happy New Year. We'll be back on Tuesday for the first show of 2025. Played safe, everybody. It's the end of the show. That means I get to do this.